Hello and welcome to the QA Underground. In today's video, we're going to be doing an introduction to the Gherkin language. Specifically, we're going to be talking about how to write a Gherkin test. We'll start off by talking about what is Gherkin. Gherkin is a language that developers use to define tests in Cucumber. Since this language uses plain English, it's meant to describe use cases for a software system in a way that can be read and understood by almost anyone. This syntax promotes behavior-driven development because it allows developers, managers, and business analysts and other parties involved to understand the requirements of the project and the lifecycle. The language makes it easy to create simple documentation of the code that's being written. Gherkin also provides scripts for test automation and supports dozens of languages. So let's quickly give an overview of what Gherkin tests may include. The most used syntaxes are feature, given, when, then, and but. Before we go over those syntaxes, I want to briefly talk about descriptions. So if needed, free roam descriptions can also be written underneath the keywords as long as none of the other lines start with a keyword. The first syntax we will go over is feature. Gherkin documents start with this keyword, followed by text that provides a description. More simply put, the feature is a description of what the software is supposed to do. This keyword is also used to group scenarios together. This isn't really for testing purposes, but it allows you to add documentation on requirements and business rules. The description section ends when you start a new line with one of the other keywords, such as scenario outline, example, or rule. The next syntax we'll go over is given. Given steps set the scene for the scenario. In most cases, these steps describe something that took place in the past. This gives the system context before a user starts interacting with it. For this reason, you should not cover user interactions in this step. Think about what you include in this step as preconditions. Now, you can have more than one given step. So if you have more than one precondition for your test case, this is where you would put multiple given syntaxes. The next syntax we'll talk about is when. When steps are action steps. They describe an event. Examples would be an event triggered by another system or a user interacting with it. It's recommended that you only have one when step for each scenario. The next syntax we'll go over is and but. When you have several of one of the steps types listed above, you can use and or but. This helps keep your documentation organized and readable. The next syntax we will go over is then. Then steps are outcome steps. This is where you describe what you want the system to do so that it can be compared to how the software actually performs in practice. This should be something that you can actually see as a result, like a message or a report. Finally, let's review some of the most common Gherkin syntaxes. So for our feature, that would be our title of our scenario. Our given syntax would be our preconditions. Our when is our event and our actions, and then is our expected output and or results. Below is a Gherkin test example. We start with our feature, which is user authenticated background. Then we start with our scenario. This one we haven't listed. Then we start with our given precondition steps. So we have the user is already registered on the website. Given the user is on the login page. Then we do our when syntax, which is the start of our actions. The user inputs the correct email address, and the user inputs the correct password, and the user clicks the login button. Now we can talk about our expected output by using the then syntax. Then the user should be authenticated. Once again, we'll use our and syntax to continue the then statement. And the user should be redirected to the dashboard, and the user should be presented with a success message. These are the basics of how to create a Gherkin test. Stay tuned for future videos as we show how to set up connecting our Gherkin test to our Cucumber framework. If you are not already a subscriber to our channel but enjoy the content, I'd encourage you to hit the subscribe button on the way out, as we upload lots of testing related videos each week in a wide range of topics, from integrating AI into testing to setting up automation frameworks in multiple languages. Thanks for checking out our video, and I'll see you on the next one.